Yeah, to last, yeah, very good evening, one and all. We are now going to start our session. Last class we had discussed how to prepare, for making the modifications and finalizing it, verifying these corrections like duplication of nodes, duplication of members, and everything. And finally, we have frozen our model. Finally, we have frozen our model. Now we are going to now add the loads to it. We need to now add the loads to this structure and then assign these properties also to this structure. Add the loads, assigning these properties to the structure, and then run the analysis for the load combinations and verify whether the structure is failing or passed, right? Yes. Now let me see. Let's go to this one. Yeah, in fact, these are all the loads that we need to add. For today's, there are the contents like calculation of dead loads and live loads, which are acting on this structure. Then introduction to earthquake, and of course, we are not going to cover this earthquake for today. For today, we are going to add this dead loads and live loads to this structure, right? So once we are done this, assigning this dead and live loads to this structure, then we'll be focusing or talking about this earthquake, application of earthquake loads, and then the keywords and single degree of freedom system, and then multi degree of freedom system, analysis of earthquakes, static and then dynamic, and then difference between these static and dynamic, and then start procedure for considering this design for applying this seismic loads will be explained tomorrow. For now, for today, we are going to talk about this dead and live loads, and then load cases, load combinations, and application of this dead and live loads to this structure. And if there are any modifications that are required for the model during this application of the loads, that will also be done simultaneously. So that is what we are going to now cover. So for today, our objective is we need to apply this dead loads and live loads to this structure, right? So that is our objective. And before going to this dead and live loads, let me just brief you about this dead loads and live loads. Can you please confirm if I'm audible? So can you please confirm if I'm audible? Can you all please confirm if I'm audible to everybody? Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for it. Thank you so much for your response. Yeah, there are different types of the loads. There are different types of the loads, especially we have gravity loads and then lateral loads. Can you all please pay attention? Gravity loads and then lateral loads. Under gravity loads, we have dead load, live load, and then snow load. Depending on the location, we have to consider the snow load. For our building case, snow load is not really required. So remaining two gravity loads like dead and live loads will be verified or will be referred based on this IS 875 part 1 and then part 2. Under this lateral loads, we have wind load and then seismic loads, which will be usually applied on this structure. They are all common loads acting on this structure. Anyway, in our case, we are going to consider this earthquake loads for designing this structure. As we know that when we have a structure length more than 45 meters, either we can create expansion joint to avoid considering this temperature loads, or otherwise we have to consider this expansion loads, or otherwise we have to consider this expansion temperature loads also when we don't want to consider this expansion joints, right? So temperature loads means two situations. If you make an expansion joint, yes, we don't need to consider any kind of a temperature load. If you want to just make the structure to be designed only for this for the length more than 45 meters, then we have to consider this temperature loads to the structure and assign them accordingly, right? So that is what this temperature loads also. In our case, anyway, we have dead loads and live loads. No other loads we are going to consider, of course, earthquake load also, right? So under this dead loads, so these are all the common loads. These are all the common loads that we can expect, which are acting on this structure. Before considering this intensities are calculation of the dead loads. Here, the first thing is we must be knowing this density of RCC, 25 kN per cubic meter, density of brick wall, which is 20 kN per cubic meter, and density of glass, which is not mentioned here. However, density of glass is 25 kN per cubic meter. Density of glass is very close to the density of RCC only, 25 kN per cubic meter, right? Self weight, columns and then beams. In fact, whatever the structural components or structural members which are modeled in this STAAD Pro would be automatically, for those members, automatically self weight will be calculated by the STAAD itself. Self weight of those members like columns and beams would be calculated by the STAAD Pro itself, right? And the remaining elements, structural or non-structural, which are not modeled in the Strat Pro, would have to be estimated manually or calculated manually and apply them on a structure or a structural component accordingly, right? Like wall loads, external wall load, internal wall load, and then parapet wall load. External wall load, internal wall load, and then parapet wall load. So external wall thickness usually be around 9 inches, 9 inches. So whose weight is like this. So 0.23 the thickness, 20 is the brick density, and 3 meter is the height. 3 meter nothing but 10 feet. 3 meter nothing but 10 feet. In our case, we have a floor to floor height of 3.3 meters. 3.3 meters. However, since the depth of the beam is since there is a depth of the beam, we don't need to straight away consider the for clear height like 3.3 meters. I mean, top of the base slab to the top of the above slab distance here is 3.3 meters, but you can consider only 3 meters height as the brick wall. Because there are always all the columns are connected with the beams, so you can just deduct the depth of the beam also, for arriving this height of the bar, But most commonly, this would be the procedure for considering this external wall, that is 14 kN per meter. An internal wall is half of the external wall, so load would be 7 kN per meter. And then parapet wall, nothing but a small height of the wall which would be created or provided on the terrace slab, whose height usually be 1 meter. And thickness of the wall would be 9 inches or 230 mm. Density of brick wall is 20, and then height of the wall is 1 meter, and for that wall it is a 4.6 kN per meter, 4.6 kN per meter, right? And then there is a facade loading like a glass thickness can be around 4 mm, 5 mm, 6 mm, 8 mm also, which is depending on the panel size, So let us consider it as a 6 mm, 6 divided by 1000 in the case in terms of meters, and then 25 is the glass density, and 3 is the 3 meter height. Every floor height is 3 meters, which is around 0.5 kN per meter, which is around 0.5 kN per meter. So that is why this facade loading is not really so significant. So let us consider at least 7 kN per meter as a UDL, which is acting like it can be unknown partitions. You can say it is unknown partitions, or you can say unknown loads, right? Unpredictable loads. So that's why here facade loading we are not considering 0.5 kN per meter. We are straight away considering 7 kN per meter as a external wall load. Also. External wall in the sense wherever we have a face of the building, right? And other than these loads, we have to estimate this staircase load also. So usually thickness of the waste slab is, waste slab is around 150 mm to 175 mm. 150 to 175 mm. Usually for residential building, 150 is sufficient. For commercial buildings, it should be usually 0.175 or 175 mm. 0.175 meters or 175 mm. And of course, even in this case also we are considering only 3.15 thickness of the waste slab, and whose weight would be around 3.75 kN per square meters. And then step weight. We know the riser and the tread. Rise equal to 0.15 meters, and then tread equal to 0.3 meters. Riser equal to 0.15 meters, and then tread equal to 0.3 meters, right? Half BH. Since it is a triangular shape, you just use this formula, half BH, and multiply with this 25, consider this as a RC system, and this would be the additional load due to this step. And this is due to this waste slab, this is due to this step, and then floor finishes nearly 2 kN per square meters. Floor finishes 2 kN per square meters, right? So if we can just sum them up all these loads, we get almost 6.31 kN per square meters. Yes, which is due to staircase. And then length of the staircase. Length of the staircase would be usually 1 meter, and then 3.5 meters, and then 1 meter. 1 meter is in fact a landing length or landing width, and then this direction, this inclined portion is around 3.5 meters, and again one more landing is 1 meter. So usually for commercial buildings, it will be more than 1.2 meters, more than 1.2 meters, right? So instead of this 1 meter and then 1 meter, you can consider 1.25 and then 1.25, which will be 2.5. 3.5 plus 2.5, 3 plus 4 plus this one, and this would become, yes, let me correct now itself. So here for commercial building, you can consider the landing is 1.25 and then 1.25 maximum. This would be around 6 meters length. This would be around 6 meters length, and we know it is a 6 meters length, and this is the load, and this is the final load. 6 into 6, and then 6 into 6.31 divided by 2, which would be around 17.5 meters again, right? So this is the slab, this is the staircase load, and this is the staircase load we have to apply on it, right? So next load here we have a slab load also. For this, usually for the commercial buildings, we have to consider 150 thickness of the slab when we have a major panels. As we know that we have divided all these major panels into small panels. So for this structure, we don't need to go for 150 thickness of the slabs. Here we can consider only 0.125 kN per square meters. I mean 0.125 thickness of the slab. So which is giving almost a 3.125 kN per square meters of slab load. And then floor finishes, nothing but tiles, whose weight would be usually 1 to 2 kN per square meters. In our case, we are considering 2 kN per square meters. So 3.125 is due to slab only, 2 is due to tiles or floor finishes, and then total load is 5.125. And then total load is 5.125. This total slab load is 5.125. In addition to this, we also have a hung loads. Hung loads we have. Hung loads weight. Hung loads means due to AC ducting, cabling, all this fall ceiling, all these loads. All these loads we can consider around 0.75 kN per square meters. 0.75 square meters. So 5.125 and then 0.75 kN per square meters, whose weight would be around 5.875, approximately 6 kN per square meters. Approximately 6 kN per square meters would be the load to be applied on a slab, which is including hung loads, And then lift load. Usually lift load would be depending on the size of the lift. Usually depending on the size of the lift, right? So whatever, you usually get around 6 to 8 kN per square meters, which is including lift weight and also the slab load acting on it. But when you consider 10 kN per square meters, that would be more than sufficient. And in fact, these values or these loads will be given by a vendor only. Vendor in the sense, it is vendor means nothing but a supplier, lift supplier. Lift supplier would be giving us the weight of that equipment. I mean, machine equipment and then lift equipment and all these fixtures weight, all those weights usually be given by a supplier only. And most of the occasions, I can say more than 95% occasions, we don't get these values before we design it. So that is why on higher side, we can consider this as a 10 kN per square meters. 10 kN per square meters is the lift load. The same thing with the water tank load also. In the case of this water tank loads, yes, we have to consider this water tank load also the same thing. We would be getting around 6 to 8 kN per square meters as the water tank load when you estimate it in terms of pressure. Means per square meters, this is the load. And depending on this occupants, then we can just change it. Even here also, this value would not be going more than this 10 kN per square meters, right? So that is what these are the basic loads under this dead loads. So these are all the loads. So there are two ways. The first thing is whatever we have prepared the model or whatever the structural components or elements which are modeled in the StatPro, those will be automatically calculated by the StatPro using this sulfate option. And the second loads or second type of loads, also the dead loads, if those components are non-structural elements which are not added or which are not prepared in this modeling, those loads have to be estimated. Those loads have to be calculated manually and apply those loads appropriately on the members. That is the second type, like staircase load, external wall load. External walls are not modeled in the StatPro. Then we have to estimate those loads manually, apply those loads on the structural members appropriately. And then lift loads and then water tank loads also. These also not modeled in the StatPro. So we have to estimate those loads manually and apply them on the structure. Now, all these loads come under the dead load only. Right? And let's go to this live loads. So live loads provisions are the guidelines are given in this IS 875.2. And these loads are dealing with this residential buildings. And these loads are dealing with this commercial buildings. And for the commercial buildings, very typical floor load is 3 kN per square meters. And staircase load would be 5 kN per square meters, right? So the staircase, live load which is acting on the staircase also has to be estimated manually. So let me see it like this. So in this case, length, how much should I need to consider? So length of the staircase, I have to consider like 6 meters as we have considered in the previous slide. Let's consider the length of the staircase is 6 meters. And then loads. What is that load? So live load acting on the staircase is 5. And then length of the staircase is 6. Let's consider 6. Right? Then what is this value? This value is 5 into 6. This value would be 15 kN per meter. 15 kN per meter is the live load. Live load. Right? So there are the loads that we need to consider or we need to apply on a commercial building. If there are any specific load that needs to be considered, then those loads have to be given to a structural engineer. Then only we can consider or apply those loads on a structure. Right? This is a brief discussion about the dead loads and live loads to be considered for designing this structure. Is this clear to all of you? Can you please confirm? Is this clear to all of you? Is this clear to all of you? Can you please confirm? Can you please confirm? Is this clear to all of you? Yes, very good, very good. We will consider when we are applying this miscellaneous loads like ramp loads, we will discuss about them. No problem. That's what I'm saying, Mr. Mohammad Abdul. Lift load usually will be given by a lift supplier or vendor only. Vendor or lift supplier, right? If those loads are not given, then we have to assume this as a 10 kN per square meter. It's not a 10 kN, it's a 10 kN per square meters. That needs to be assumed and then design this structure. Ramp loads and then sunken loads, anyway, don't worry about the sunken loads. Ramp load will be applied when we are considering this as a miscellaneous loads, right? We will design the ramp manually. Dog-legged staircase will in fact give you more loading conditions, more load, unlike open well. In the case of the open well, yes, the load would be further reduced. Floor finishes load is 2 kN per square meters. Yeah, this is the loads that we have to consider it. Now let's open our StatPro. All of them, parking loads, all of them will consider the 3 kN per square meters load is very huge. 3 kN per square meter is very huge. Yes, we consider all of them square meter. Pressure in the form of kN per square meters and then UDL in the form of kN per meter. All wall loads in the form of kN per meter and then slab loads kN per square meter. Yes, now let me just go to this StatPro. Let's go to the StatPro. Yeah, this is our model. This is our model. Now I wanted to just add these loads also. I wanted to add these loads to this structure. So what are the loads we are going to consider? Earthquake loads, dead and live loads. Earthquake load and dead and live loads, right? So if I want to apply this earthquake loads and dead and live loads to this structure, the first thing I have to do is first I have to add the earthquake loads only. In the sense, load cases, right? So if I want to add load cases to it, stop posting questions. Right? So for example, now I have to now begin adding this earthquake loads, in the sense load cases, just load cases, right? So for adding this load cases, I have to go to this StatPro, and then here I have load cases details, click here and then add here. So here I am just mentioning this as a earthquake load, EQ X positive, earthquake load in X positive direction. Right, I'll say add. and then earthquake X negative, add, and then earthquake Z positive, add, and then earthquake Z negative, done, and then dead load, add, and then live load, add. So this is how to add the load cases to the structure. See, I'm not using this one. I'm not using this loading type. Where is a dead load, earthquake load? I'm not using it. Right? I'm not using this. I'm just mentioning the names. Earthquake X positive, earthquake X negative, earthquake Z positive, and then earthquake Z negative, dead load, live load. So there are all the loads that we are considering for designing this structure, right? That's it. And now I'm going to close it. Now I'm going to close it, right? Now, so this earthquake loads we don't add right now because earthquake loads are purely depending on this dead loads and then live loads only. So from this statement, it is clear that first we have to add the dead loads and also live loads to this structure. Dead loads and the live loads to this structure, right? So for time being, what I do is before I go to this add this dead loads and live load to this structure, I'll go to the property. I'll go to this property here. I have a property here. I go to this property and I'll just add some number. I'll just add some property to the structure. I'm just adding some property to this structure like define and rectangle and depth of the column. It's just a tentative number. Width of the column is this. And use the same thing even for the beams also. Close it. See, I'm just taking some property like 300 by 600. One is for columns, second one is for beams. That's it. One is for columns, second one is for beams, right? So I did not design anything. I did not consider anything. I just wanted to add some number to it, right? So I'm using this 300 by 600. I'll go to this first one, first property. I'll assign this property to this structure or columns. I'll go to this select beams parallel to y-axis. Okay, done. First property is assigned for all the columns. See, I'm not changing any properties and I did nothing. I just wanted to add only two properties. One of them is for columns, another is for beams. That's it. We are just adding it. I'll go to this one. I'll go to the select. Now I wanted to assign this property to all the members which are not assigned with the property, right? Nothing but all beams. So how can I select all the beams? So for selecting all the members or especially all the beams, I will go to this select and then I'll go to by missing attribute. By missing attribute, I can select any one of them, which means by using this option, all the elements, all the structural element, all the elements would be selected which are not assigned with the property. Will be selected which are not assigned with the property. Will be selected which are not assigned with the property. I can say like this. I'll say assign, done. Now there are two just assumed properties. These out of these two assumed properties, I'm using one property for the columns, second one for the beams, right? Second one for the beams, right? Now what I do is I'll just show you in this render view. I'll just show you in the render view. See, render view in the sense I have a kind of a pyramid here. I have a kind of a pyramid here. Let's click on this pyramid and then just see now the pyramid structure. See, this is what our structure is. I'm just zooming in, zooming out. See this? This is what our model is. I'm just scrolling it and I'm using this mouse just to rotate this. See, this is a commercial space. Right. Is this clear to all of you? I just have added two properties to it. One is for columns, second one for beams. I did not say why we are doing it. I mean, I did not say how and why we have chosen only these properties, right? We just have given some property to it. We just have given some property to it. And then now we are proceeding for the design, right? So it is just a kind of a, so this is done, right? Two properties are assigned to it. These properties are assigned to it. And then now I'm not going to talk about this specification for now. Yeah, we can do it, Mr. Baumik. We can use the same option. We can use the same option. Yeah, no problem, no problem. So what I did is I'm just going to delete this again. See here. I'm here in the general. I'm here in the general, and then property here, property here. Can you all please pay attention? I'm deleting this. See, I'm deleting this. Yes, I'm deleting this. Yes, right. So we are here in the property. We went back to this define. Here I have it defined. See, 1 second. I'm using this. Here I have it defined. I need to define this property. Click on it. So I have a circular, rectangular, so on. So I select a rectangular, and I'm using this YD. YD is nothing but depth of the member. YD is nothing but depth of the member. So this value should be always higher, like this is 600, and the width of the member is 300, and then add it. I will add same property again. Sorry, I will add the same property again. I'll say like this, add it, and then close this, and then close this, right? So these two are the properties that we have added. I select the first property. I'll go to this select here. I'll go to the select here, and then I'll go to this div parallel to y direction. So I went to this select div parallel to y direction. I need to assign this property to all the columns first. Assign it and say yes. Again, I'll go to this. I'll go to this. Yeah, I'm extremely sorry for keeping you waited. Keeping you waited, I have got an important call. I'm sorry for it. Yes, now I have assigned this property for columns. Second one, now I need to assign to this members or beams, right? Now what I do is I'll go to this select again. I'll go to this by missing attributes. I'll select any one of them. So when I select missing attributes, what are the members which are not assigned with the property? All those members, including ramp members, will be selected, including ramp members, because ramps are not assigned with the property. So in this case, as of now, only columns are selected with this property. Only columns are selected with the property. So now it is done. Now we have assigned this remaining this property for the entire structure, right? I'll say assign. I'll say oh, okay. Now all the members are now assigned with the property. Now tell me, is this clear to you how to assign these properties? Can you just please confirm? Is this clear to all of you? That's it. That's it. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Now let's proceed. Now let's proceed. Yeah, thank you so much. Let's proceed now. So I will now show you. I will now show you the 3D render view. 3D render view. So 3D render view is here. Can you please look at here? So it's a kind of a pyramid. Pyramid shape icon is here. You click on this pyramid shape. Just see this. Just see this. I'm just using scroll in, scroll out, scroll in, scroll out. See, you can see anything. You can just get inside also. You can just get inside. And someone said, where is this ramp? That you can just, right? So yes, here we have ramps. Here also we have ramps, right? So this is how, just read this stat file. If I want to get back, I can just use this general option. Can you just look at here? Yes. So here I have general option, right? I can just click on it. I can get back to whole model. I can get back to whole model. I can get back to this whole model, right? That's it. If I want to see 3D again, 3D model, I have to go to this pyramid shape icon, click on it. So I'm getting this 3D render view here. Maximize it, just scroll in, scroll it. Just see this. Just see this expansion joint and whole structure and everything is here. If I want to just get back to this original model, I have to just click on this general, right? Done. So now it is done. Now we are not going to talk about this specification. We are also not going to talk about this support. It is already done. Now we go to this load and definition, and under this load and definition, we already have added these loads like earthquake X positive, X negative, Z positive, Z negative, dead load, live load. This is already added. This is already added, right? Sorry. So before applying this, adding this dead loads and live load to this structure, I also would like to just make some modification, some more modification to this model. Means I just wanted to go to this front view. Let me just see what is this level. In fact, this is a ground level. This is ground level. We always try to refer this ground level with 0. Ground level is always 0, and this is the first cellar, second cellar, and then third cellar. So these dimensions will be negative dimensions or negative levels. So what is the gap between these two? It is 4 meters, right? So this is minus 4 meters. This is minus 7.5 meters. And then what is this value? This is minus 11 meters. This is minus 11 meters. It should be minus 11 meters. But it is now showing like a 0. It is now like showing like a 0. It is just for our understanding. It is just for our understanding that. So this is the ground level, which is usually being referred with the 0 level, and cellular levels minus. This is minus, this is minus, and this is minus. And the floors which are above the ground level will be indicated with the positive levels. Like this is a plus 3.3, and this is a plus 6.6, and then plus 9.9, and then so on and so on. Right. So now it's a clear now this, what is this value? This is 0 0, but in fact this value should be 0 0. So what is this value? This is 11 meters. So what should I need to do? I need to just make this 11 meters, or I need to select entire structure, and bring this down of 11 meters. Bring this down of 11 meters. Bring this down of 11 meters, right? So bring this down of 11 meters. How can I do that? So I will select all these nodes. Can you please observe this cursor? Now it is in nodal cursor mode. Please do not post any questions. I'll let you know. I said very clearly, this is the assumed values. So I'll let you know. All right. Now it is very clear that we need to keep this level at 0, 0. We need to keep this level at this 0, 0. So that it is easy for us to apply the loads or to read or to understand this structure, right? So I'll just click on it. I'll select all these nodes. I'm selecting all these nodes. Can you all please pay attention? I'm using this nodal cursor which is here on the left side. So this is nodal cursor. This is nodal cursor. So I have to select this node and I have selected all these nodes. I have selected all these nodes and now I use option F2 move. F2 move. And this is a y coordinate system. So y direction I need to bring this structure down. So I keep this down. If it is a down, minus, and then 11, minus 11. I'll say okay. Right. That's it. Now all the structure, our entire structure is now down, which is now down. So can I click on this level? Click on any node. So what is the level indicated here? 0. Now it is clear that it is ground level. Now it is ground level. So it is ground level. Right, this is ground level, and this is first basement, second basement, and then third basement. So height between these two is -4, -7.5, -11, right? And how about this floor? This floor is yes, this is 3.3. Then here from here to here is 3.3. Again one more 3.3, which means 6.6. Again one more 3.3, which means 9.9. So now it is clear. If I want to see, or if you want to know the height of the structure from the ground level, you just click on it. What is this height? 23.1 meters. 23.1 meters. Now it is very clear. This node coordinate is directly indicating or referring the height of the structure from the ground level. Height of the structure from the ground level is how much? 23.1. 23.1. Right? Can you please confirm me? Is this clear to all of you? Is this clear to all of you? Is this clear to all of you? Can you please confirm? Is this clear to all of you? Yes, very good, very good. Nothing. I did nothing here. I just have used only two commands. I just have used this nodal cursor. I have selected like this. I have selected all these nodes like this. Right. I used F2 option for moving the structure. Right. So this one is rail level, sorry, ground level. Since it is a ground level, ZL, since it is a ground level, usually ground level would be referred with the 0, 0. Ground level referred with the 0, 0. And this is minus level. This is again minus, yeah, this is basement 1, this is basement 2, and then basement 3. Basement 1, basement 2, basement 3, right? 1, 2, 3. And then here, from here to here is first floor, above the ground level, second floor, third floor, so on, so, right? Star does not know whether it is a first floor or ground floor, but only thing is when we are applying this slab loads, when we are supplying, yeah, that's what I'm saying. When we are applying the loads, slab loads to this structure, then it would be easy for us. Yes, it will be easy for us. Yes, it will be easy for us to apply the loads on the respective floors. I can show you this here. Can you just look at this? This one, floors and elevations. See here. Levels are directly given. Levels are directly given here. See, this star does not know it. Even to be frank, Even if we can just proceed with the same procedure also without making any modifications in the this one, that is fine. See here. So what is the ground level here? Ground level is indicated like 0, 0. Ground level indicated like 0, 0, and these levels are mentioned clearly. This is 3.3, 3.36, so on, so on, so on, so. So when you are applying the slab loads on this floor, then it is more necessary to just remember the floor heights or floor levels. So that is for our easiness. That is for our easiness to recognize the floors, right? Even if you do not make anything, then that is fine. I use only F2 option. That's it. F2 move. Right? Now let me get back to this. 1 second. Yeah. Now this is done, right? Now we are done with this. Let's maximize it. Yes. Now I need to add the loads to this. So for this, I'll go to this dead load. Go to this dead load. Add here. And the first load is mentioned as a self weight here. We have to add this self weight. So before adding the self weight, y and then -1. We know the coordinate system like this. This is x-axis, this is y-axis, and this is z-axis. Right? X, y, and then z-axis. So self weight would be acting downward. Self weight is acting downward. So I must be indicating with minus here. And since it is acting this y direction, y should be selected. Minus means downward. One is 100% dead load is considered. Right? So I'll just simply say add. Right? So what are the loads that I need to add? I have to go to this PowerPoint. Let me see here. I have to add all these loads. Sulfate is done, and then 14 kilonewtons, 7 kilonewtons, 4.6 kilonewtons, and then again 7 kilonewtons, right? And then what else I have to add? I have to add this staircase load of 17.5, and then yes, 17.5, and then I will add this slab loads, lift load, and then water tank load. So up to this staircase load, up to this extent, these are all the member loads. These are all the UDL loads. These are all the UDL loads, right? These are all the UDL loads, right? So I go to this. How many loads I need to add? I have to add this one. See, I have to add this one, like 14, 7, 4.5, right? Again, of course, I can add this 7 also, and then next again, sorry, yes, and then 17.5. I'll go to this start pro. Yes, now let me clear these marks. I'll go to this member load. See, I have to go to this member load, go to this, and this is here -14 due to external wall, -7 either due to internal wall or due to this facade, and then -4.6 due to this parapet wall, and then yes, what is the value next? 17.5, which is dead load of staircase. Anything else is left? Let's go to this 14 over, 7 over, 4.5 over, and then here 17.5 over, 17.5. So these are all the loads that need to be first added. Once we could add to the model, then we will be assigning those loads according to the location of the walls. Yeah, that is fine. See, anyway, we don't have an internal wall. If you want to add, we can add one more wall. We can add one more wall. And this is -7. Anyway, in our structure, we don't have internal walls. We don't have internal walls. Anyways, for your sake, let me just add it. I will add this one also. Let me add one more 7 point -7. I will add for you one more 7 load here. And then close. Right? Yes. First, I am adding only this wall loads. Then I will have the slab loads. Right? I'll go to this self feed. I'll go to this self feed, and I will then select this assign to view. Assign to view means whatever we have the structural components or elements in our view, all those elements will be assigned with this loading system. I'll say assign to view. I'll say assign done. That's it. So all of these elements are having self weight. So self weight, assign to view, assign, done. And then 14 kN per meter is the load. This is the load wherever we have these external walls. This load has to be applied. Right? This load has to be applied. I'll keep on this right side. Let me just keep on this right side, and I'll go to this ones. And where do we have these walls? Let's check here. When we said assign to view, the self-weight should have been assigned to all the members. These are all the members assigned. These are all the members assigned. All are turned into red color. It means all this self-weight is assigned to whole structure. Yes. Now see, this is the ground level. This is the basement 1, basement 2, basement 3. So first I will focus on this basement 3 here. So if you can just see all these white color ones are the walls. So where do we have wall? Lift location and then staircase location. On the ramp location also we have a wall. Here we have one wall. Here also we have one wall. Right? Here also we have staircase and then lift. Even here also we have wall doors. Right? So this is for basement 3. And when I go to this level, when I go to this one, even here also, stop posting questions. So this is basement 3. So this is the basement 3. Here we have wall loads for lift and staircase for ramp. Lift and staircase we have walls. Agreed. Basement 3 is done. Basement 2 also the same location. And then here for basement 1, so there are some changes like this wall. This wall is coming from this ground level, this one. So here there is some change. Here there is some change. And remaining things anyway, it is very same here, and then here we have same values, same loading conditions, right? So except with this location, remaining all are same for the basement 3, 2, 1. So what I do is I'll go to this front view. I'll go to this front view. I'll select this first this one, basement level 3. I'll select this one. I'll keep it on this new view. Right click, new view, okay, and then I'll go to plan view. Right, and this is the 14 kN per meter, and we know this is applied on this. You have to click on it. Please don't drag with the box. Just click like this. Click on them. Don't drag them. Right, this is done. And here is a beam left. Here is a beam left. Click on it also. So this is done. I'll click even here also this, and then this. And then lift also, I think we have a lift also. This one, this one, this one, this one, this one. Let me keep it on the right side. Let me verify once again, verify it and once again. So sorry. Extreme corner, left corner. So I'll select like this. Likewise, right side also. Here I don't have this one. Assign to selector beams. So I'm going to use this assign to selector beams. Assign to selector beams, this option. Let's select this option. I'll say assign. Yes. I'm going to use this isometric view and just see. Once we have assigned this load to these members, this is how we can just notice them or observe them. Right? So these are the loads. These are the loads that are applied here. These are the loads that are applied here. And we also have to make a minor modification to it. Minor modification to this model. So I have to make one more beam here. I can just show you here. Better if I can add one more beam here. Let me just connect a beam here. Let me connect a beam here. Right? It doesn't mean that we are completely done with this modeling. When we are applying the loads also, we might change our thoughts depending on the requirement. Right? So now I can add one more beam here. I will add this load also. Can you please look at here? You can just see this. Yes. I have to, this one is a column to column connected. This one is column to column connected. Means here up to this extent I must be doing it. So by mistake, if these loads are extra added, by mistake these two loads are added, then what should I do? How can I just remove it? For removing these loads, I have to select this beam. I have to select this beam also, right? And I'll go to this toggle load. I'll go to this toggle load, and I will select this assign to selector members. I'll say assign, done. That's it. If you want to remove the loads, yes, you can remove it. So for removing the loads, what did I do? Once again, I'm repeating it. See, now I wanted to remove these loads. I'll select this load, this beam, and then this beam, and make sure that this toggle load option is selected. Yes, it is done. Then I'll go to this assign to selector beams, assign, yes. Right? If I want to change the scaling of these loads, see the height of the load is very huge here. Height of the load is very huge here. If I want to further reduce it, I have to select this icon. I have to select this loads icon. Click on it, and then press Control, scroll in. That's it. Press Control and then scroll in. That's it. See? Now we could change. We could now change the loading scales. Right? So this one is at basement level 3. Now I wanted to see whole structure. If I want to see the whole structure, I have to go to this whole structure icon here. I have to go to this whole structure icon here, click on it. I'll go to this front view. I'm done with this basement 3 level. I'll now go to this basement 2nd level. Again I go to this columns locations. I'll select this columns also. Alt VB, Alt plus V or right click, new view, OK. I'll go to this plan view, right? So now again the same place only. Again I have to identify this. Yes. Again here these ones, and then this. Yes. I have a staircase up to this again. Let me just verify it again. This one. Yes, almost up to this except last row of columns, right? So I'll apply this load. I will assign this. I will select this column. This. In fact, I must be having a beam here. I must be having a beam also here. That I can add now. So I'll go to this. Let's please remove this toggle load. Let's remove this toggle load. Assign to selector members. Assign, yes. Right? Now what I do is, now we have realized that we should have continued a beam here. We have realized that we should have continued a beam here because we have a wall. We have a wall here and we also have a wall here. So let's now add one more beam. Let's now add one more beam. So I'll go to this option, add beam option, select this, done. Select this, done. I also just wanted to add one more member either here or here, because there should not be a kind of a L-shaped slab. All four corners of slab should have been closed. It should be enclosed, right? If I can just see this top view, how is this? See, this is looking like a mirror L shape. It should have been closed either this way or this way, right? So it is up to us now. So let's add one more member here. Click on it slowly. I'll just go to this last option, select this, I'll select like this, and then assign. I can click on it. I'll go to this plan view. Let me apply this load, and then this load. Assign to selector beams. Assign yes. Right. So this is how we have to add the 14 kN per meter load here. And I also wanted to apply this load on these beams. This one, this one, this one. This is of ramp. See, so they are the ramp members, ramp loads. Wall loads we have here, side wall load we have here, side wall load we have here. Click on it, remove this. Yes, I have took this up to this. So they are the side wall loads, side wall beams. Assign to this, assign yes. Right, this is for the basement level 2. Basement level 2. I'll go to this floor plan. This is done. I'll go to this one. Now I go to this basement 1. Here also it is very same, but I have to have these loads, extra loads. These ones, right? So I'll go to whole structure. This one is the whole structure. I'll go to front view. Yes, up to this I am done with this. I'll go and add the loads here somewhere. And I'll select this columns also. Plan view. We know it. We have to add the same beam here. Let's add the beam here. We have to add the same beam here. And I have to add one more beam here. Right? I will add. Right? So this is now done. This is now done. And then I'll go to this plan view. Select this load. This one, this one, this one, this one, this one. This is done, done, done. This is still supporting and this is done. Remove it. That's it. And wanted to apply here, 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 and this, sorry. I also wanted to apply the load here, 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 and then here, here. That's it. Assign to selector beams, assign yes. Right, I'll go to this, select this, Assign to selector beams, assign, yes. I have to add one more member here. I'll go to this, I'll select like this, let me just use this, select like this and then this. So reducing this, yes. I'll go to this whole structure again, I'll go to whole front view, I'll go to this ground level here, ground level, go to this ground level, I'll select all these bottommost columns, all to VV, I'll go to this plan view, yes. So here, this one, and then this, and then this. Yes. Assign to selector members, assign, yes. I will now add these loads. This extra beam I must be adding here. Let me add a beam here. Let me add a beam here. Click on this, done, and then done. I'll go to this, use this, and from here, and then done. I'll add this member from here and then here, right? I'm pressing Control, scrolling in. This one is done. This one is also done. Assign to selector members. Assign, yes. Right? Now tell me, is this clear to all of you how to add these dead loads? I mean this UDLs. Is this clear to all of you? Is this clear to all of you? Can you please respond? Is this clear to all of you how to add these loads? Can you all please respond? Can you all please respond? That's great. That's great. Seriously, that's great. Yeah, I agree with it, Mr. Gyaneshwar. Yes, there is a column also which is assigned with this load that we will verify it. Once we have assigned all these loads to the structure, we need to verify if any loads are misassigned and wrongly assigned or something went wrong with them, then we can just modify them. We will add the properties, Nazir. We will add the properties for the new beams also. It is a process. It is just a process. You'll go through it. Sai will go through it. We are just fine tuning it. I'm just explaining you the original procedure. How we do, what we do, how we commit a mistake, how can we rectify them. So it is a general process. We are just going through this process and we are working on it. Right? Now, anyways, now for now, yes, let me just go to this whole structure. I'll go to this over this one. Now I'm going to select this one, first floor level, all the columns here, all to VV, all to VV, I mean new view, plan view. Let me keep it this way. And this is the first floor level. I'll go to this one. So this is exactly the ground level, and I go to this first level. Let me keep it on the left side. Wait, wait, wait. We have not completed anything. See now. So this is the first floor plan. Here, if you can notice it, so here we have a one more wall load here. So there are all the wall loads. All periphery beams is assigned with the load, and this one also. This lift load and this one, all these beams. All these beams are upright with the loads. And here in this central portion, there are no beams at all. No beams at all. Here to here, no beams. I mean, no walls. Right? So I just wanted to understand. Yes, this is clear now. Let me keep it on the right left side. I have selected this. Now what I do is I'll select only this portion, all to VV, all to VV. I must be understanding it. And of course there is a beam missing here and then here. I'm going to click this, click this, click this, click this, click this, and then this. Yes, I'll go to this one also. I will add one more member here, either this way or this way. No problem for this, no problem for this, right? Stop posting questions. Right? And I also wanted to add one more member here, either this way or this way, no problem. Either of the ways. Right? Now it is clear. So now I go to this, I'll select this line, I'll select this line, I'll select this line. I can select like this, I can select like this. Yes, this one. I can select like this, like this. I can select like this. I can select like this. Yes, these are all the loads. Let me check here. See now, all of them are assigned with this. All of them are assigned with this. See like this, see like this. See, all of them are selected. Very technically speaking, this is a facade only, but I have selected this external beam also. I have selected this external beam also for applying this as external wall. Assign the selector beams, assign, yes. Now I go to this whole structure. Yes, now I'll select all these typical floors. Let me select this and then press Ctrl, select this. I'll select like this and then this and then this. All to VV. There are some columns selected here. There are some columns selected here. So what I do now is I'll go to select beams panel to y-axis. Now all the columns are selected. Now I wanted to select only the beams, not the columns. I'll go to select, I'll go to by inverse and then beam selection. Now all these members will be inversely selected. See like this. Now again I use all to VV. Now there are no columns. I go to this plan view. Let me, yes, of course. I have to assign this. I need to add this property. Let me keep it on the right side. And this is a typical floor. So this is a typical floor, right? So for the typical floor, see, same here. All this, all of these are assigned. All this external, these ones are assigned with the loads. I'll go here. I'll select like this. I'll select like this, like this, like this. See here. అయిపోయింది నాది కూడా. Yeah, is this now clear? Now let's go to this. I'll assign this. Assign, yes. So there are two members missing here that we can add it. There are two members missing here that we can add it. So where are those members missing? Yes, this one especially. I'm going to select only this zone. I'm going to select only this zone. Right click. Yes, I will add the property here. I'll go to this. From here to here. And then from here to here. And then I will add one more member from here to here. Now I select this. Control C copy, Control V paste it. Reference point. Yes, I'll say OK. This one done. One second, please. That's it, right? Now tell me, is this clear to you how to assign this one, these loads, these member loads? Can you please tell me, is this clear to all of you how we have assigned these loads? Can you please all confirm this? Thank you so much. Now I start away go to this terrace level. I'll send you this video. Please focus on it. If you still get any doubts, we'll discuss about it tomorrow. We have 2 less time. Whereas, of course, we are also going a bit slow. Now I'm going to directly select this terrace level. Let me select this terrace level. Alt VV. I'll go to this plan view. Right. I'm going to select this 4.6 load. Let me assign this 4.6 load somewhere here. Let me add it. Let me add this property. Let me add a beam here. Let me add a beam from here to here, from here to here, and then I will take this one also. From here to here. Right? So wherever we have this staircase load, only this portion I have to assign this one. Assign to selector beams, assign, yes. Now I go to this one also. I'll select like this. Assign, yes. I will add one more member here. From here to here. And then I will also add a member. I wanted to just close this. Right, I will select this 4.6. Let me assign this 4.6 kilometer per meter for entire periphery of the structure. That's it. So now we have add this 14 kilometer per meter, and we of course we don't have any internal wall. We did not use this 7. This is 4.6 parapet wall load, and the 17.5 load is for a staircase, and this 7 kilometer per meter is facade load. And of course, in the case of the facade load also, we have added this 14 kilometer per meter only. 14 kilometer per meter only, right? Yeah. Now I'm just ending my session. And I'll be sharing this link also to you. My sincere request for tomorrow is, I sincerely request you to spend time up to 9:30 tomorrow. Up to 9:30 tomorrow. Tomorrow, I request everybody to spend up to 9:30. Right now, I'm going to stop my session. I sincerely request all of you to spend at least half an hour extra tomorrow. Can you please? We will provide it. We are not done with this application of load so far. We will work on it. We can start early also, but only thing is remaining people who are traveling from offices to homes, they might not be feeling convenient. So that's it. I sincerely request you to go through this video. Then only you will be able to work on it able to grasp it for tomorrow's class. Right? Thank you so much. Good night. Tomorrow we will extend. Tomorrow we will start our class sharp by 7:30, and then we will be closing by 9:30 for sure. 7:30 to 9:30 full 2 hours. Good night. Thank you so much. Good night.